I was halfway through cleaning a trout that afternoon when I heard tires on gravel, a sound that didn't belong out here. My lake's usually so quiet you can hear the wind bend the reeds, but that crunch behind me was too deliberate, too out of place. I turned, wiped my hands on a rag, and there she was, blonde hair, white blouse, crisp enough to cut paper, and sunglasses that probably cost more than my truck. She stood there like she'd been waiting her whole life to tell someone what to do. "Mr. Dawson," I presume she said, with that smug tone that tells you she already knows the answer. "You presume, right?" I told her, reaching for my thermos instead of the axe leaning by the porch. Coffee was cold, but it steadied my hands. She didn't shake my hand, just opened some leather folder like a cop in a movie. "Karen Wilmore, president of the Pine Valley Lakefront Association." I smiled slow. "That's so, don't remember signing up for any of that." She smiled back, tight-lipped eyes sharp behind those mirrored lenses. "Technically, all lake-adjacent parcels now fall under our management region. We've updated our community maps accordingly." I just stared at her. "Lady, this land's been in my family since before your community had a name. My dad built this cabin with his hands. His brother cut the lumber from these woods, and nobody voted you queen of the forest." She didn't like that. Her jaw twitched. "Your structure violates HOA standards. It's unregistered, unapproved, and several years behind on dues." I laughed just once. "Dues? For what sunlight air? You'd better walk back up that trail before I call the sheriff, ma'am. You step on my land again without a badge, I'll treat it as trespassing." She blinked like she couldn't believe someone had the nerve to tell her no. Then she spun around, folder clutched to her chest, heels snapping the gravel on her way back to that shiny SUV. I watched her drive off, and for the first time that summer, I had a chill running down my spine. A week later, that chill turned to fire. I'd been up north teaching a group of rookies how to survive without Wi-Fi, and air conditioning came back sunburned, tired, smelling like pine smoke. The second I turned down my trail, something felt wrong. Too much light leaking through the trees. The air, thinner somehow. And when I rounded the bend, my world fell apart. My cabin was gone. Not damaged, not burned, gone. The clearing was just bare earth clawed and scraped by heavy machinery. Boards broken like bones, tools scattered like a battlefield. Even the old wind vane twisted. My water barrel crushed flat. I walked toward what used to be my porch and saw a wooden stake with a laminated paper nailed to it. Structure removed per safety regulations. Site deemed non-compliant. I don't remember dropping to my knees, but I did. My father's home erased by strangers in 1 week. When the sheriff's deputy arrived, he looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. "Mr. Dawson, we got a call from the HOA last week about an illegal structure. County records show this parcel under their perimeter overlay." "That's impossible," I said, pulling the deed from my glove box, papers yellow with time. "This land's private, been registered since 1963. He rubbed his neck. "Sir, the assessor's office updated the boundaries last month. Looks like someone changed the map." I stared at him. "Then someone committed fraud." He nodded quietly. "I'd talk to a lawyer." That night I didn't sleep. I called my attorney, Frank Miller, an old friend from my ranger days. Sent him photos of the wreckage, the notice, the deed. He called back 10 minutes later. "Ethan, we're suing the hell out of them." The next morning I went digging. County office records, survey maps, parcel updates. Every piece of paper led to one name. Brent Howard, junior registrar, conveniently related to Karen's husband. That wasn't coincidence. That was collusion. And just when I thought I'd hit a wall, my neighbor, sweet old Russell, with his new drone, sent me footage. "Caught this while testing the camera," he said. The video showed 2 workers tearing down my cabin. And there she was, Karen standing beside them, hands on hips, watching as an excavator clawed through my roof like it was trash. I felt my throat close. Frank grinned when he saw it. Oh, she just made our case bulletproof. We filed the lawsuit the same day. Destruction of property, trespassing, falsifying county records, and for good measure, conspiracy to defraud. But I didn't stop there. I posted the footage online. No names, no anger, just the truth. It went viral overnight. Local news called, then state news. And that's when she reached out. Laura Jennings, investigative journalist, the kind who made crooked officials lose sleep. She came out to the ruins herself, no camera crew, just a recorder and a notebook. She said, if they can rewrite property lines without due process, that's not just corruption, that's rewriting reality. 2 days later, her story aired. She didn't use names, but everyone knew who it was about. Within hours, the HOA's website crashed. My inbox flooded with people sharing their own stories, stolen docs, illegal fines, intimidation. Then Laura vanished. No replies, no updates. Her last text to me said, if anything happens, check folder. Ranger 71. I opened it. Inside emails between Karen Brent and a local councilman. They talked about expanding jurisdiction before any legal resistance mounts. Proof of a coordinated land grab. Frank turned it over to the DA. That same week, someone smashed my truck's windshield with a brick. A note taped to it read, back off. Cute. I installed cameras the next day. Then Karen's lawyer hit back, filed a counterclaim saying I'd threatened her life with a firearm. She even had a fake witness. I almost laughed. I'd worn a body cam that day for safety, captured everything. I was calm, unarmed, and polite. The judge took one look and tossed her claim like yesterday's mail. But the hits kept coming. Spray paint on my garage. A dead raccoon on my porch. I stayed steady, documenting everything, waiting for my turn. When it came, it was glorious. Courtroom packed. Reporters in back. Karen walked in dressed like she was at a fashion show, flanked by lawyers who probably charged by the syllable. Frank leaned over and whispered, she's walking into her own funeral. We started with the drone footage. The silence was heavy. Even the judge leaned forward as Karen's smug face filled the screen, pointing as my roof came down. Then we played the recordings. Laura had recovered Karen's own voice. If that cabin isn't gone before he gets back, we'll deal with a lawsuit instead of a cleanup. That was it. The room erupted. The DA, sitting 2 rows behind us, stood up and walked straight out, probably to prep the warrants. The next witness sealed it. A former HOA treasurer, gray hair, steady hands, voice calm as he testified how Karen siphoned HOA funds into fake companies owned by her husband. Every word landed like a hammer. By the end of the week, Karen and her husband were arrested. Fraud, conspiracy, property destruction, you name it. Brent got dragged into it too. The entire HOA board dissolved. Their community office was auctioned off to a wildlife reserve. It took months, but justice came. Karen pled guilty, got 9 years. Her husband got probation and a ruined reputation. Brent's flipping burgers somewhere far from here. And me, I rebuilt. The cabin stands again, same footprint, stronger bones. Neighbors helped, even strangers. We raised walls together, shared food, shared stories. Someone brought their daughter, said she wanted to learn how to build something real. She sanded every rail on that porch, left her initials right beside mine and my dad's. At the start of the trail, now there's a sign burned into cedar bold letters. Private land, not for HOA. Folks take pictures with it. Some even print it on shirts. I didn't ask for fame, but maybe this little fight reminded people that ownership isn't paperwork, it's legacy, sweat, and memory. Laura's back on air now hosting a show about property rights. She came to the reopening, brought a bottle of scotch, said, "Feels like the season finale of Justice." We laughed. Some nights I sit on the porch with a drink in hand, looking out over the lake, and I think about my dad. About how close I came to losing everything he built because of one woman's greed dressed as order. They thought a few signatures could erase 50 years of history, but they were wrong. The land remembers. The people do too. And if you're still listening, tell me, where do you draw the line between community and control? Drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading them from my porch, same view, same sky, and a hell of a lot more peace.